How many times have you set writing goals in January only to see them fail by the end of the quarter? Or maybe you have burned yourself out with your goals, or you may even find that you have been stalling, like you have this little desire in the back of your mind to write a novel or to really give your author career a go, and you just haven't done it. And most of us look at it and think that we are the issue when all of these plans fall through. But what if you are not the issue and your plan is? Just in case you are new around these here parts, my name is Dana. I'm a USA Today bestselling author. I'm a developmental editor, and I am the chief storyteller at Danja Tales, where we help authors write addictive romances and build profitable publishing careers. And y'all, it just so happens I decided to jump back in this YouTube thing right before the holidays. What was I thinking? I have no idea, but I knew I had to move, or I would find that my goals were, were doomed to fail. Now, they're not doomed to fail. But with that said, I've recorded this video several times and I'm trying one more time. Okay. Camera was out of focus. It was a lot of noise. It's the holiday season. My house has people and it is what it is. However, I wanted to get this video to you. We debuted it at our most recent retreat at Danja Tales, and this is all about how do you plan for your real life and plan in a way that your business and your creativity, it serves the life that you want to live. I had some time to really sit with this and think about all the times in the past when I was the most productive, and then the other times when it felt like nothing was gaining traction. And I realized that the culprit wasn't always that I lacked motivation or that I didn't follow through. It was that I created my plans and I didn't really have my life in mind. And once I realized this, I feel like it was a game changer for me. I had to look back and see that the times when I made the most significant changes and made the most moves, if you will, in my career and in my business came a lot of times when I was the most busy. And it was all because I let my life, the way I wanted to show up, dictate how things were going to move. And so today what I'm going to do is give you some questions for you to take into your planning time. This is not our full session. If you're interested in getting the full session, let me know. If you join us over at Danja Tales Writers, I'll make sure that you can see this particular session. Just DM me. But I'm going to give you some questions to take into your planning time. And while we're going through, I'll give some examples. But I want to give this to you because you still have time to think about 2026 and to go into it like a beast. Not because you're doing hustle, hustle, or you're trying to live someone else's life. But there's something about having a goal and know you have exactly what you need to make it happen. That it's ambitious enough, but it's not enough, like my old coach used to say, to make us splat, but to show up and do the daggone thing. You know what I mean? So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into this. So I'm hoping that by the end of this video, you're going to know what this means for you to create a business where it is meant to serve your life. Whether you're like me, I'm a coach, I'm an editor, and I'm also a writer. But my priorities is I'm a wife and I'm a mom and I'm a whole person that loves to do other things as well. I will include a link to a workbook with some of these questions so that you can either work alongside with me or you can download them and do them on your own time. So let's go ahead and just dive into this. Now, I'm gonna say this because y'all, I'm gonna have to do this chillax to do it. You're going to see that I'm checking my notes, but I want to do it because I want to make sure that I'm giving you the right questions. Okay. And feel free to ask any questions if you have them. This system of planning I call Align, ALIGN. The A is for answer your life question. The L is for line up your business stage with your life stage. I is for integrate all 4 quadrants, and I'll explain what those 4 quadrants are. G is for guard your creative will, and N is for navigate by your season. The caveat that I'm going to give is that at Danja Tales, our goal is to help our writers write addictive novels and also build profitable brands. And this means we are a business. So if some of this makes you a little bit squeamish, I apologize in advance, but it's almost like I'm sorry, not sorry. Right? Because if we want our business to help us to do all the things that we are called to do, part of that is that we have financial responsibilities. But I do believe the rest of these questions can still help you. Okay. So no, that's why we're always bringing in that business aspect. There are 5 sections, and we're going to think about what happened in 2025. And then it also helps to set you up for what needs to change in 2026. Section 1 is answer the life question. This section is about before you plan anything for the new year, you need to reconnect with why you started this in the first place. Why did you want to start writing? Why did you want to start publishing? Why did you want to start your own business? And what life were you trying to create? Now, when you do this, I really recommend that you give yourself the time and the freedom and the bandwidth to really think about this. I know when I do these questions, I like to write them out. And even sometimes you can go on a walk and dictate them into your phone. Once you think about your why, why did you do this? Then ask yourself, did this year move you closer to that goal or further away? And again, this section is to help you remember what you're building this business for so that you can stop chasing goals that don't serve your life. For me, as an example, as I think about this, I was thinking about Danja Tales and why I started Danja Tales in the first place. And it's because I absolutely love romance. You're going to see, I love romance novels, and I'll say it all the time. It's something that I do for work and for play and for hobby, when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I need a break, and when I'm busy. And so it's one of those spaces where I literally get to do something that I absolutely love to do. But it also means that I'm looking at did the way that I spent my time in my business, does it allow me to do more of what I want to do, or am I doing things out of obligation, right? Am I doing the writing that I want to do? Am I doing the editorial work that I want to do? Am I working with clients that feed my soul, or did I work on projects that drained me? Okay. So write these answers. And if you find that there are some things that come up and you don't know the answer to it, leave yourself space. Come back later. That's what's so great about doing this still now. And at the time of us sharing this is that you can come back and fill in those blanks later and let your mind sort of chew on it for a little bit longer. So here are some more questions for you to consider in this area of your life question. Why did you start your author business? What life were you trying to create? And did this year move you closer or further away from it? What moment this year reminded you why you love writing? And did your writing serve the life that you wanted, or did it become another obligation? And take your time, write these answers, leave space to come back. And if you can remember some specific moments so it'll give you more clarity, I recommend writing those down too. When you're doing this, this is a no judgment zone. Just report the facts. Just be very honest with yourself. You don't have to share this with anyone, but if you really want to level up and you really want to, like, I'm going to say go hard, but it doesn't have to be hard, right? I don't think it has to be hard for you to get your results. But if you really want to lean in, that's the way I'll say it. Maybe do this along with another writing friend and share your responses, or take these into your time with your coach. I think that will be another way for you to sort of get the lay of the land and really recapture the vision so that you understand where you're going. Okay. So that's one. Answer your life question. Section 2 is making sure that your life stage and your business stage are aligned. This is one of those things that can get out of alignment quickly, because a lot of times we are building our business and we are making our business goals, or we are creating our release schedules, and we're doing it in isolation as if it does not embody an entire life, or it's not seated in a life. And I like to envision it like this, that you have your whole life and your business as part of that life, versus it being your business has overtaken everything and you get a little piece for your life, on the peripheral, right? We don't want that. So you want to line up your business stage with your life stage. This section is about identifying what season are you in when it comes to your business, that you are aligning this with your timeline and not someone else's. Were you building this year? Were you maintaining this year? Were you scaling this year? And making that decision for 2026, or whenever you're doing this next year as well. When you look at this current year, did you match those two seasons, like your life and your business? Or were you forcing yourself into the wrong stage? So an example that I love to use here is when my children were in their teenage years. If you follow me on LinkedIn, I talked about this and I shared it actually like a couple weeks ago. When my kids were in their busy teen years, we had a son who was competitively running and we had a daughter who was competitively dancing. There was a lot of travel. There were costumes and hair and makeup and sitting on bleachers, and there was a lot of things going on. And when I started my business, I did it with my family first. So during those times, I was not scaling. I was maintaining. And the moment that I figured that out, it made things so much easier. But what was so amazing is I still increased my revenue, and I still had a really profitable business and a great time in my business, while still being there 100% of the time for my family. But it's only because I paused and I let the main thing be the main thing, which was my family. And so here you want to make sure that you pay attention to that gap between what you plan for and what your life could realistically hold. So when you look at 2025, don't turn a blind eye. Use that to help you move into 2026. So here are some things that you can consider. Were you building? Were you maintaining? Or were you scaling? Did that match your season of life? Or were you forced in this stage again? What was your actual capacity this year? Not what you thought it should be. What was it? And here's a big one. What did you say yes to that took time away from writing, and was it worth it? Yes is a 3-letter word, but man, it can get us in a whole lot of trouble if we're not careful. And so that is how you begin those stages of aligning, like lining up your business stage with your life stage. Section 3 is about integrating all 4 quadrants. Now this, y'all, is where you are going to really see whether you are aligned or you are misaligned. And this is all about building a sustainable author business that balances all 4 of these areas. Your catalog, which is what you're building, your audience, which is who you are serving or writing for, your revenue, which is how you fund your life, and your creative sustainability. And this is what keeps you whole. Listen, I talk profitability, I talk business, I talk CEO, I talk like author, boss, all of those things that you want to say that get you in your bag. But let's keep it a buck. If you are burnt out, nothing's happening and you're not having fun, right? You could be the worst possible boss for yourself if you don't ensure that these 4 areas are aligned. And I'm going to insert a hard pause here. DTW, go back to this session in the retreat if you need to reground in this area. This is where you will hit pay dirt, because when you understand where you are in each one of these quadrants, this is where you can truly see the places where you can make little changes that have big payoffs and bring them to your one-on-one sessions. Okay, so let's keep this party going. This section helps you to see if you have balanced those 4 areas, or if you are just chasing one at the expense of others. I've seen time and time again with clients that they're chasing revenue, putting everything else at risk. And we don't want that. Honestly, it turns into being something that you never intended. Here are some questions that you want to consider. For example, as far as your catalog, did you finish what you started this year? Or are you surrounded by have-done projects? For your audience, did you grow your email list, or did you deepen that reader trust by deepening that relationship with them? Or were you just chasing followers? For revenue, what actually made money? What books were truly profitable? What were the projects that you worked on that you loved writing, but also earned well and you are getting great royalties from those projects? And are you planning to do more in 2026? For your creativeness, what kept you writing this year? What made you excited? What gave you joy to write? And did you protect that? Okay, so section 3 again is about aligning those 4 quadrants, balancing. And when I say balance, I don't always believe every season is about 25, 25, 25, 25, right? I don't think it's a percentage like that, but I think there can be a rhythm, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But you know when something is out of whack, you feel it. And I would just say honor that, write it down, and keep it a buck with yourself. Like, be really honest so that you can strategize ways to fix it, right? To rebalance that energy or reallocate where projects need to be. So 4 is to guard your creative sustainability. You can't build a sustainable business if you are burnt out, period. This section asks the hard questions. This is where you have got to woman up, man up, and answer the hard questions. If you really want to build a business that you love and that helps you to build and create the life that you want to live. So, did you protect your creative well this year? Or did it drain you dry? Right? What kept you creatively alive? And did you guard it? Or did you let everything else crowd it out? And I cannot tell you how many times I find myself working with clients because they burnt themselves out before. And now they feel like they're starting over because they pushed themselves to the limit. And then the only way that they could feel relief is just like taking their hands off of everything. And now the thing that they love is not even a part of their life. And it's almost like having a form of like PTSD because it can freak out because it went too far. And I would hate for you to love doing this and you don't get to because you didn't really steward your gift and your time and your resources the way that you should. And you can fix that. So here are some of those questions that you're going to be asking yourself. Did you burn out this year? And what was the warning signs that you ignored? Don't skip this. Don't skip it. Your future self will thank you if you really answer these questions. What part of writing still brings you joy? And did you do enough of it? What boundary do you need to set in 2026 to stay creatively whole? Now, here's the thing here. I tell clients, I tell family members, and I would tell whoever asks me, I do not write for free. My writing is not a hobby. However, I absolutely love writing. I love every form of writing. I love writing manually. I love writing collectively. I love working with ghostwriters. I love working with AI. I love working with writing in any possible way that I get to do it. But I also know that I treat it like a business, and that there must be projects that I am laughing and I am crying and I am all in, because it is what makes me feel creatively alive. And I believe you can have both. You can have creativity and financial security. You can have what you love and be able to not just pay your bills, right? So live your blessed life. Okay. So that is section 4, guard your creative sustainability. Now, before we move on to the 5th section, which is navigate by your season, I want to invite you to join us over at Danja Tells Writers. Y'all, if you know what needs to change, but you don't know how to do it, that could be more frustrating than anything else. But being in a supportive community where you can plan for 2026 and work through your strategy and also get coaching on how to execute it, and be an environment where people are writing and they are publishing and they are finding their jam and we're doing it together, that is where I tell them all the time, we can get further, faster together. And we are inviting you to join us. You can look in the description below to go to danjatellswriters.com to find out more. We would absolutely love to have you if you are a writer who are doing your thing, and even if you're one where you're not doing it yet, but you want to do it in 2026. All versions of writers are welcome into that space, and we look forward to having you over there at Danja Tells Writers. So before we move into navigate by season, let me recap. A, answer the life question. What are you building this for? L, line up your business stage with your life stage. Are you building, maintaining, or scaling for the life that you want? I is to integrate all 4 quadrants. Again, those quadrants, you want to be strategic about them so that they serve your life. And that is your catalog strategy, your audience strategy, your revenue strategy, and your creative sustainability strategy. And this is what's going to keep you whole. G is all about guarding your creative well. We also want to make sure that you have a strategy for guarding your creative well, that you're planning for that. And again, to DTW, bring your questions to our next session. We're going to be locking those in so we really can crush 2026. So now to section 5, navigate by season. This section helps you to see how your business should fit your life, not the other way around. This section helps you to look at when you create best, when your life normally gets hectic or chaotic and you need to avoid like big deadlines, and also whether you planned around your actual rhythms or if you fought them the whole year and you paid the price. It's about aligning your plans with the person and the human that you are. This is one of those areas that can really sneak past us if you stop and pay attention to when your life is naturally more open and you have more free time, or it's naturally busy. And I had an aha moment around this. It probably was the most prevalent as far as comparison when our kids were younger and we were homeschooling. And I found that it was easier for me to identify that sort of natural rhythm because of school seasons, right? When your kids are in school, you get more work done. When your kids are on summer break or spring break or winter break, it's harder to do. But I found it was really a challenge when we first became empty nesters, because I realized, first of all, I had all of this time, which should have been a good thing, but I found it probably even harder to manage because I was not used to it. And I didn't plan for it because I didn't know to plan for it. So here is where you think about those rhythms. Sometimes you have to lay out your calendar and know that there are times where you're just naturally busy. Maybe you are like me, your kids. Or if you are an empty nester or you don't have kids, maybe there's a time of the year where you do a lot of volunteer work. Or if you someone in your business that you travel and there is a busy season when you travel. Like in my business now, the fall is extremely busy because there's a lot of conferences that I go to, or I have speaking engagements. So it's harder to write in those seasons, but it's easier for me to edit during those seasons as a writer. So knowing these things can make it so that you are being kind to yourself and you are taking advantage of the times when you can be the most productive. So here are some questions that you may want to ask yourself. When do you create best? And did you honor that this year, or did you fight it? And not just being specific about when those times were, like the instances, but when they were in your calendar year, like the timeline. You want to pay attention to both of those. When does your life get chaotic every year? Are there times that it's just naturally busy? I think for many people, you could think holiday season, but I know, like for me, we have what we call Power Week, and we have a whole week of birthdays and anniversary and all of this, and it is naturally busy. We're either traveling or doing stuff. And so trying to plan something during that time is absolutely ridiculous. Like it is. Just don't, Dana. It's what I have to tell myself. And now I know, even my clients know when this time of year is for me, because it is something that I honor about my life. For 2025, did you plan for it or did you act surprised? Right? Because again, if you know that when you look at 2026, block it off or plan some lighter weight tasks. Another question that you want to consider is, what season of life are you entering? Because you may find that this upcoming season, maybe you didn't have to plan for it this past year, but you do need to plan for it going forward. And does your plans match it? These are the 5 stages that I recommend you look at. I'm like, I want you to, I think you should. Listen, you are grown all day long. However, I do believe going through each one of these sections, it can make it so that your plans will be something that can be both ambitious, but also that you can do. You may need to buckle down. You may need to clear your calendar. You may need to block off time, but that you can truly do because you are planning for it with your life in mind. So now what I'd like for you to do is pick one section that hit you the hardest and meet me in the comment section and let me know which one was the hardest for you. I'd love to hear about it. And if you decide to answer these questions and come back and maybe create a video, let me know, tag me in it or DM me the link. I'd love to both either support you or comment and see what you have going on. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. If you have not done so already, follow my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and meet me in the comment section. And I will be back really, really soon. Take care. As always, happy writing. Goodbye.